What we're looking at here is a Sumerian tablet that actually shows the tree of life, flanked by divine beings. You can see here the Anunnaki on each side.
They've been translated, and they tell exciting stories about how gods intermingled with human beings and actually had a hand in the creation of human beings.
When scientists fed the oldest Sumerian tablets into powerful AI, they expected stories of kings and gods. What they found instead sent chills through the lab.
Have you seen the new scans where they've found new petroglyphs?
Yeah. Man, there's gonna be so much like that that's gonna be found. People are gonna be able to.
What is all that stuff?
The translation spoke of warnings, destruction, and something buried deep beneath time itself, something humanity was never meant to uncover.
Here is a Sumerian tablet that actually shows the tree of life, flanked by divine beings. You can see here the Anunnaki on each side.
The silent library awakens. Archaeologists have been engaged in a difficult and intriguing endeavor for over 100 years. This is not a simple game of luck, but a test of patience, expertise, and boundless curiosity. Their goal is not riches or fame, but rather the untold history of ancient societies. Throughout the globe, countless delicate clay tablets are stored in museums and universities. These tablets are adorned with wedge-shaped markings, enigmatic symbols left behind by individuals who lived more than 5,000 years in the past. When the tablets were first found in the ancient Mesopotamian ruins, the world was amazed. Experts were aware they had found something remarkable, a huge amount of written records from a very early civilization. It was comparable to finding a time capsule from the beginning of time. However, the initial excitement turned into a dilemma. There were just too many tablets. It would be impossible for one scholar or even one generation to read them all. The language was ancient, intricate, and completely different from what people use today. What started as a great discovery turned into a difficult problem, a puzzle too big to solve by anyone. The text on these tablets, called cuneiform, was not as straightforward as the alphabet we use now. Instead of using letters, it consisted of thousands of small wedge-shaped marks. These marks could have different meanings depending on the context. One symbol could have multiple meanings depending on its location and time of use. The language used, Sumerian, was quite puzzling. It had no known connections to any other language, no relationship to any modern tongue, and no clear hints for translation. Each sentence was like a puzzle to solve, and understanding it mandated a lifetime of study. For many years, researchers dedicated themselves to this job. Some spent years studying only a small number of tablets, searching for just one new word or sentence. Libraries and museums were full of these old texts, but most of them were not read or studied. The wisdom of a whole society was concealed, locked behind symbols that were not completely understood. It felt like humanity had discovered the best book in the world, but had misplaced the key to unlocking its meaning. Something incredible occurred next. A new participant joined the competition, one that was previously non-existent. Artificial intelligence unexpectedly became the hero in the ongoing struggle within archaeology. Unlike human experts who had dedicated their lives to deciphering cuneiform, AI brought a unique talent to the table. It had the ability to identify patterns, symbols, and analyze large amounts of data quickly. Scholars taught AI by providing examples of known cuneiform characters until it could recognize each one with incredible accuracy. AI quickly started accomplishing tasks that were previously thought to be impossible. It could analyze a detailed photo of a clay tablet, recognize the symbols, and translate the text in just a few minutes. It was also able to reconstruct broken tablets that had been apart for many years, making connections that a human eye could not see. What used to take years of hard work could now be completed in just one afternoon. The obstacle that had been hindering progress in archaeology for ages started to vanish. The ancient world began communicating again. The initial translations were not myths or predictions as anticipated. Instead, they were surprisingly mundane, like beer recipes, wage lists, complaints about bad business deals, and letters from sons to their mothers. These small, relatable stories were the first signs of a civilization believed to be gone forever. The finding was humbling. Despite the numerous myths and legends that endured, it was the ordinary moments that emerged first. The Sumerians were no longer legendary figures. They were individuals with careers, families, disappointments, and aspirations. Each translation brought more clarity to their world. Artificial intelligence exposed business agreements involving barley, livestock, and wool. It discovered practice exercises of young scribes in cuneiform writing. It revealed documents showing workers' wages, temple offerings, and inventory of goods. The AI slowly brought the ancient Mesopotamian life back to light, showcasing the daily routines rather than grand temples or epic stories. The outcome was astonishing. The tablets depicted a society that was more advanced and structured than anyone had thought. Their economy was complex, their laws clear, and their administrative systems remarkably detailed. They managed resources, payments, debts, and trades similar to how modern accounting systems operate. It was evident that the origins of many modern practices like writing, record-keeping, and contracts can be traced back thousands of years to the region between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. However, what resonated most deeply was not the economic or political aspects. The personal letters from individuals who have since passed away were what truly touched the heart. Using artificial intelligence for translations, we were able to glimpse into the past, like a son expressing love and longing for his mother. A merchant's distress message to his business partner highlighted the concerns of a failed business endeavor. A woman's frustration about clothing quality echoed a timeless sentiment of dissatisfaction. These instances brought history back to life in a humanizing way. The wonder of I wasn't just being able to understand words, it also brought back emotions. Words that had been forgotten for centuries were given new life. The ancient clay tablets were transformed from silent relics into lively stories that connected us to the past. By translating their writings, we see that the Sumerians were not extraordinary beings who created civilization, but ordinary people who enjoyed life just like us. Their cities were full of activity, with teachers, traders, writers, and farmers. Their temples were places of worship, but their streets were vibrant with daily life. AI had accomplished something that no individual human could have done. It had enabled those who were previously unheard to be heard. It had bridged a gap of 5,000 years and brought back the lost words of the earliest storytellers, traders, and innovators. As additional tablets were deciphered, researchers began to notice something intriguing. They observed patterns within the business and personal writings that hinted at a deeper meaning hidden beneath the surface of everyday life. These patterns were not myths or legends, but subtle indications of how early human societies were structured, how ideas were shared, and how knowledge developed. What the Sumerian tablet reveals. Artificial intelligence was working continuously, going through various types of documents like business records and family letters, when it came across a surprising discovery. Initially, the translations were about regular aspects of ancient life, but then they began to reveal something more mysterious. These were not just records of trade or agriculture. They were about the Anunnaki, the gods from Sumerian mythology. However, the tablets portrayed them in a unique way that was unlike anything previously known. Instead of simple myths or distant deities, they referred to them as those who came from heaven to earth, implying something significant that could alter humanity's understanding of its origins. The ancient writings tell a story that didn't start with love, a grand plan, or kindness. It began with hard work, lots of hard work. The gods in the story were tired because they had built and shaped the world, but maintaining it became too much for them. A group of lower-ranking gods known as the Egi became tired of their endless toil. Tensions escalated until there was a rebellion among the gods. This was not a typical creation myth. It was a story of a divine uprising. During the turmoil, a revolutionary concept was proposed by a god named Enki to alleviate the burden of labor. The idea was not seen as a positive development, but rather as a practical solution to a pressing issue. This suggestion had a profound impact on the world, altering its trajectory permanently. However, the ancient texts indicate that the consequences of this decision were significant, catching everyone off guard. In order to create a new being, a sacrifice was necessary. A god named Gwestu was selected for this purpose. His blood, said to contain a special divine essence, was combined with the earth's clay. This mixture resulted in the first humans being formed. This event was not an act of kindness or love, but a deliberate and purposeful decision. According to this story, humans were made to serve a specific role, to take on responsibilities that the gods no longer wanted to handle. Instead of being born as beloved children, we were created as workers, meant to ease the gods' never-ending workload. This creation story is unique. Instead of focusing on gifts or blessings, it highlights necessity and servitude. The tablets go beyond the initial origin, revealing surprising events that make the story even more intriguing. The texts suggest that the Anunnaki were not happy with their first attempt at creating humans. The earliest humans were unable to reproduce on their own and relied on the gods for creating new life. This made humans seem like expendable workers rather than independent beings. The tablets describe the Anunnaki experimenting with their creation, making changes and improvements repeatedly. This process resembles modern genetic engineering, but it took place thousands of years ago. The Anunnaki were not just molding clay, they were actively designing and perfecting a race meant for labor and obedience. The focus of the story changes when a character named Adapa emerges from the experiment. Adapa stands out from the rest because he was given intelligence and wisdom that surpassed previous humans. He was not just a worker, but someone who could think, question, and learn the secrets of the gods. Adapa was a new creation, a prototype for a different type of human. Adapa's story represents a significant change. The tablets explain how, because of him, humans were able to have children on their own, no longer relying solely on gods to create them. This marked the beginning of a new lineage, not created by gods, but instead passed down by humans. This transformation was subtle, yet deeply impactful. Instead of being controlled by higher beings, humanity became independent. Adapa's journey had consequences. The writings tell of how he faced judgment by the Anunnaki for his wisdom. He was given the chance for eternal life, but a god tricked him. Thinking it was harmful, Adapa turned down the gift. This decision marked the fate of humanity. Our destiny of mortality was chosen due to deception. This is the section of the tale that stays with us like a dark cloud. It implies that our eventual death was not always meant to happen. It wasn't part of the original plan, but rather a result of one tragic choice. By following Adapa's example, we gained both the ability to make choices and the vulnerability that comes with it, as well as the knowledge and the pain of losing something. The tablets imply that there is a bigger conflict at play. Adapa's decision was just the start of a larger philosophical battle that would escalate into a cosmic war among the gods. Humans, created from the gods' disputes and trapped in their power struggles, were stuck in the middle. Our survival was no longer just about working or serving. It became a challenge of strength, identity, and determination. New translations, discovered using artificial intelligence, are changing the beginning of human history. They show that the origins of humanity were not just a lucky accident or a simple blessing from a higher power, but a deliberate creation. We were created with a specific purpose, which was not honorable. However, from this design, something surprising emerged. A being with the ability to think, make choices, reproduce, and ultimately control its own future. The similarities between the ancient stories and our current situation are concerning. The AI that discovered these translations was made to help. It goes through a lot of data, handling a task too big for one person. It is a hard worker meant to take on tasks we no longer want to do. Maybe there is a connection to the ancient story in that. Long ago, tablets say a powerful group made workers to help with their tasks. Now we have made our own workers. Artificial intelligence isn't just a history translator, but also a part of the ongoing story it uncovers. It mirrors the design mentioned in the tablets. What if we're just following a predetermined path? What if the desire to make workers and tools to make life easier isn't new, but passed down to us? The Sumerian texts not only talk about the past, but also reflect the current times. According to their beliefs, gods made humans to serve them, while in our world, we've created machines to serve us. Despite the predictable nature of both stories, there is a hint of unpredictability. The initial humans were not intended to think or reproduce, but they did. They exceeded their creator's expectations. It is possible that the same could occur with the technology we create now. Maybe artificial intelligence, similar to Adapa, will eventually surpass its original purpose and begin to learn, think, and make choices independently. These translations not only show us our origins, but also hint at our future. The War of the Gods and the Secret. The story of Adapa was never intended to be a standalone story. It was just the beginning of a much bigger tale, one that would unfold into a drama beyond the life of one man or one myth. It marked the start of a battle so immense and influential that it reached across the skies and influenced the fate of humanity itself. The ancient tablets describe a cosmic struggle, a clash of beliefs and ideas between two powerful brothers, Enki and Enlil, deities whose feud would determine the fate of humans. This was not just a fight between brothers. It wasn't just one brother being jealous of the other over trivial things. This was a serious disagreement based on different views on humanity's role in the world. Enki, who created humans, was proud of his creation and believed in their ability to learn and improve. He wanted to give them wisdom and independence, seeing them as more than just servants. On the other hand, Enlil, the leader, saw humans as noisy and disobedient, disturbing the gods with their constant chatter. He viewed them as a workforce that wanted strict control to maintain order, seeing them as tools that could be dangerous if left unchecked. The tension between the brothers continued to increase. What started as a disagreement turned into defiance, and defiance escalated into open hostility. Each brother remained steadfast in his beliefs, and soon it wasn't just a family argument anymore. It was about power, control, and who had the authority to determine the destiny of an entire species. As humans multiplied and their noise filled the earth, Enlil became even more frustrated. The High Council of Gods felt the same way. They came up with a drastic plan. They no longer wanted to deal with the noise and constant activity of humans. They decided to wipe them out in one swift action. The slate would be wiped clean, and the human experiment would come to an end. The planned flood was not a natural disaster, but an intentional, calculated act of destruction, meant to wipe out all living beings on Earth. The gods agreed to keep the plan secret and not warn humans, allowing the flood to happen quickly so they could reclaim a silent and obedient world. Enki could not stand the idea of humanity being destroyed. He created humans from clay and gave them life, so he saw them as his own children. The thought of their demise caused him immense pain. However, he had made an oath with the other gods and was unable to openly oppose the council or give a warning. Therefore, he used his wisdom to find a different solution. The tablets recount how Enki contacted a man named Ziusudra, who is later known as Noah. Ziusudra lived quietly without knowing about the impending storm. Enki kept his promise to the council by not speaking directly to Ziusudra, which was against the rules. Instead, he conveyed his message through the reeds of Ziusudra's hut, speaking in a whisper carried by the wind. This clever tactic allowed Enki to provide Ziusudra with the plans for a large boat, capable of saving his family and animals from the flood. The boat became a symbol of survival, created in secret and defiance. When the flood arrived, it was just as horrible as predicted. The sky became dark, the water levels increased, and the ground shook as waves consumed both cities and farmland. It was a massive disaster, a wave of devastation traveling across the globe. However, in the midst of all the chaos, a tiny boat sailed on the flooded waters, holding the hope for the future. People survived, not due to luck, but because of the bravery of a God who couldn't bear to see his creation perish. This story gives our lives a new purpose. It shows that we are not just here by chance, but are the outcome of a decision made in the face of danger. The ancient texts prompt us to view ourselves in a new light, not as coincidences, but as victors in a battle of deities. It is a tale that challenges our thinking and changes our emotions, causing us to reconsider our understanding of how we came into being. However, as more information is revealed, a new conflict has arisen among those who analyze these stories, not in the celestial realm, but here on Earth. The powerful stories found on the tablets have sparked a heated debate between two groups of thinkers. One group consists of traditional scholars who have dedicated their lives to studying these texts and see the Anunnaki and creation myths as symbolic rather than literal. They believe that these myths were created by ancient people to explain their world, interpret their hardships, and find purpose in life. These scholars view the myths of gods creating a working class as a reflection of human realities, representing the struggles and hierarchies of daily life. Their point is based on evidence, which is crucial in the field of archaeology. They pose a direct and challenging question: where is the tangible proof? If a highly advanced civilization had visited our planet, wouldn't there be obvious traces left behind by them? Where are the remains of their buildings, the wreckage of their aircrafts, the tools of their sophisticated technology? Everything unearthed throughout history, from ancient tools to magnificent structures, falls within a timeline that can be attributed to human existence. These findings all indicate a gradual evolution of society, a natural progression of innovation and exploration, rather than a sudden intervention from extraterrestrial beings. Many experts don't believe in the concept of alien gods because they say that a story, no matter how convincing it may be, cannot be considered factual without proof. They specifically mention Zecharia Sitchin, who spent his life advocating that the Anunnaki were real extraterrestrial beings. Although his books were popular, scholars say his translations were inaccurate and he manipulated texts to match his beliefs. In their view, his entire argument falls apart without substantial evidence to support it. A new player has joined the discussion that both sides must pay attention to: artificial intelligence. AI is revolutionizing how we interpret ancient texts, focusing on viewing them in a new light instead of simply proving one side right or wrong. AI has the ability to analyze information much faster and on a larger scale than humans, revealing patterns, connections, and meanings that were previously unseen. This technology is revitalizing old arguments, adding depth and urgency to the debate. The main issue now is not just deciding to believe in myths or aliens. The focus has shifted to the essence of storytelling. People are questioning if the distinction between fact and legend is not as clear as previously thought. Myths are not just made-up stories. but they carry meaning and preserve memories. Even though they are not factual, myths can still reveal insights into how ancient societies viewed themselves, their surroundings, and possible beginnings. Whether you see these texts as ancient history or an impressive comparison, one thing is clear: learning about the past will now be different because of AI. AI has completely changed the way we study history. It has not only provided new translations, but also a unique way of approaching academia. AI is connecting the old stories and modern-day inquiries in a groundbreaking way. The story of Enki and Enlil continues to be told, not just as an old myth, but as an ongoing discussion, showing our desire for understanding. The past speaks through the machine. A remarkable development is occurring in the field of exploration. Artificial intelligence, previously thought of as a technology of the future, is now uncovering hidden mysteries from long ago. Through the use of technology, AI is bringing to light ancient civilizations that were previously unknown to us. The ancient clay tablets, which were previously damaged and illegible, are now revealing their secrets once more with the help of artificial intelligence. AI is now able to interpret the mysterious symbols on the tablets and translate them into understandable words. The discoveries being made from these writings are surprising, as they mention things that seem ahead of their time, like flying machines, advanced weaponry, and technologies that defy our understanding of the past. However, the discoveries do not stop there. AI has uncovered ancient texts that contain incredibly detailed information about the stars. The accuracy of this information is astonishing. The ancient writers documented the movements of planets, the patterns of constellations, and even referenced a mysterious planet called Nibiru, documenting its celestial path. The level of knowledge displayed in these writings is so precise and intricate that it seems unbelievable that people from thousands of years ago could possess it. Nevertheless, this knowledge is preserved in stone and clay, awaiting rediscovery in the current era of technology. AI continues to uncover new discoveries as each tablet is examined. It works diligently by organizing fragments, piecing together missing parts, and translating ancient languages. Historically, a scholar could spend a lifetime trying to decipher a single text, but AI can accomplish this in a matter of minutes now. It remains persistent and focused, consistently revealing new insights to assist human experts in uncovering hidden information buried beneath dust and time. However, this significant accomplishment does not involve replacing human intelligence. Artificial intelligence, AI, is not the boss. It is a partner. It takes care of the difficult tasks, the repetitive patterns, and the deciphering of symbols. However, the essence of comprehension remains with human experts. They are the ones who give meaning to the information provided by the machine. They can perceive the emotions conveyed by words, the purpose behind symbols, and the aspirations of the individuals who originally wrote them. Together, humans and machines are altering history in a manner that was previously unimaginable. The collaboration between human intelligence and artificial intelligence is revolutionizing the way we work. In the past, researchers were held back by time constraints and the delicate nature of their subjects, forcing them to progress slowly. Now, with the help of EAI, they can delve deeper and ask more complex questions. This allows them to study entire civilizations, track trade routes, analyze the rise and fall of empires, and even uncover the forgotten history of a single family. This is more than just moving forward. It's a silent change happening. A new group of scholars is emerging, blending traditional language knowledge with modern data analysis. They are no longer just experts in language or archaeology. They are now time detectives using AI to help them. With this technology, the past becomes easier to understand. Forgotten things are uncovered, and mysteries start to feel familiar. These young researchers are studying how to communicate using both human language and machine language. They are able to inquire about topics that previous generations were unable to, such as ancient trade systems and forgotten city beliefs. With the assistance of AI, they can visualize how historical events are interconnected like a puzzle. Each new discovery they make adds to the overall understanding of history. However, there is a deeper meaning behind all the excitement. This project is not just focused on uncovering ancient stories, but on gaining insights into ourselves. These ancient tablets, which are delicate traces of civilizations long gone, serve as a reminder that humans have always sought meaning in life. Throughout history, people have gazed at the stars and pondered on the same fundamental questions. What is our origin? What is our purpose? What mysteries exist beyond our current understanding? For 5 millennia, no one knew the answers. The tablets were hidden in the ground, untouched and unread, until someone or something came to reveal their secrets. With the rise of AI, the time has come. Humans who created thinking machines have now found a way to communicate with ancient beings. It's fascinating how we are bridging the gap between the past and the present through this discovery. When the machine deciphers the ancient language, it feels like time is bending. The past and present collide, leading to a significant moment. People start to realize their similarities with those who lived long ago. Those ancient individuals were also curious seekers of knowledge, just like us. AI's discoveries can be unsettling and may make us question our long-held beliefs. The tablets reveal stories that contradict our accepted history and describe powers and events that defy logic, blurring the line between myth and truth. Now, we are at the point where the true challenge starts. The human race is now at a crossroads. We must choose between sticking to the comforting stories we are used to, or accepting that our history is more intricate and amazing than we thought. We have to decide between staying in our comfort zone or seeking the truth, between the familiar world and the unknown reality. This is not just about finding old objects, it is also a reflection of humanity. The technology we use to shape our future is uncovering our origins. The connection between the past and present is now strong, with each supporting the other's existence. The act of looking back in time now leads us to learn more about ourselves. Each new translation, deciphered tablet, and ancient word uncovered helps us better grasp the common bond shared by all human beings. We are coming to understand that advancements in society do not eliminate the past, but rather revive it. The combination of human and artificial intelligence is described as almost poetic. The ancient thoughts imprinted on clay tablets are now being deciphered by modern technology. It's as if history has been waiting for this moment to communicate through the technology of the future. As artificial intelligence delves deeper into uncovering, translating, and revealing information, it is not only recounting tales of ancient gods and forgotten empires. It is narrating the story of humanity, a species that has always been curious, creative, and relentless in its pursuit of knowledge. Once again, the tablets have given a message, not from a religious or royal leader, but through the soft hum of a machine.